Welcome back to my car shop. It's Christmas in the shop today. Let's watch the show intro and I'll meet you on the other side.
Working out of a 100-year-old refurbished barn, bringing 35 years of experience to projects considered beyond repair. Vision, creativity, and problem solving are essential tools in this place. Watch as we transform junk into polished metal miracles. This is My Car's Shop.
Well, just recently on the channel, I was talking about wanting to get a TIG welder and holding off, and obviously I didn't. So wanted to just unbox this for you today. We're in the middle of a blizzard here in Michigan. The winds are over 40 miles an hour and it's impossible to work in the shop right now. It would just be pointless. I could never keep it warm with the wind that strong out of the east like that. So I wanted to give you something, and so I thought this would be the thing to do. So let's get into this. We'll unbox this thing and talk a little bit about what we're discovering. I haven't seen it. I haven't opened it. I'm doing this with you. I realized that I didn't state what welder for sure that I bought. So this is the Eastwood TIG 200 AC/DC. It is a welder designed by Eastwood for the DIY guy to be able to do good quality TIG welding in a home shop. It is both 110 and 220. So let's get into the unboxing and you can learn more about this unit. All right, so not bad. My first impression of it, it was packaged well, even though the packaging was a little bit damaged on the outside. A corner of the box was kind of damaged. Everything looks good inside. It was packed very compactly. The only frustration I had with the shipping experience was FedEx leaving it set outside in the middle of a blizzard, but fortunately I got home within 15 minutes after they delivered it, so it really didn't hurt anything. But usually they do a better job of putting things in a plastic bag or sticking it somewhere out of the weather. So thank God it wasn't raining, but it is what it is. So very impressed with the quality of the unit. It's not as heavy as I expected it to be. Nice switches, rocker switches here, nice dials. We'll get more into the function of this unit. I have pretty good understanding of how the unit works. But let's see what else is in some of these other boxes here, because I'm not sure. Oh, there you go. A non-auto darkening face shield that you hold up on a stick. So it's a little bit like Jose Jalapeno, except this is weld mask on a stick. What else do we have here? Okay, leads. So this is the ground lead and the gas line. Yep, so here's the ground that would screw in here or push in there or whatever it does. Looks like it's a twist lock. And then the hose that go to the tank. Thing I don't have yet is a cart to put this on. I did go this morning, even though we're having a big storm. I did go to the place that I get all my gas and picked up the argon tank so that I could go out and weld once I can get out in the shop, which is hopefully the next day or two. A little bag of something which I'm guessing is probably the lead with the gun and the trigger, which is nice to have that, be able to put that in a bag. Yep, that's exactly what it is. So the electrode, this unit, I was very careful. I did a lot of research, and you can use the trigger here to run it, or you can use the foot pedal here. So this will give you variable amperage, and you can also set your range down here on this, which I liked that. And then your foot pedal, of course, to activate how much you want, but you have to switch it between panel control, which means you're using this trigger, and this, you can't vary the amperage at all when you do that. This is just basically an on-off, and you set it manually here. And there's times that's going to be essential or important. certain situations where you're not going to be able to operate a foot pedal. So you can switch it over, or the foot pedal, and then this does not do any good. It doesn't work. You can actually remove this if you want. It's just on there with zip ties. But from the people that have used this, from what I'm reading, even if they're not using it, they like having it on there because it gives it a little more beef to the handle. So we'll see what happens with that. Oh good, they did give me a couple of tungsten. That's good. And then the back of the unit, they gave me a couple of gas shields and a couple of sleeves for the tungsten, so that's good. So that's all in this little package. So it's basically a starter kit. It doesn't come with any fill rod or anything, obviously, but it has the 2 different types of electrodes, and I can't remember how they are or what they are. I've got to get back and read that, but that's why we have an instruction manual. And it said I haven't used a TIG since 1995, so there'll be a little bit getting up to speed on that. And then I'm not going to take it out, but the regulator, let's see, maybe we will. There we go. Nice little regulator, small dial, small gauges, but that's fine for what we're doing with this. So that's going to be good. And that looks like that's pretty much everything that comes with it. Oh, the other thing that's here, this unit is both 220 and 110. So it does come with it's got your standard blade 220 adapter, like a dryer or whatever might use, but it also comes with an adapter so that you can use it on 110. I do have 220 in the shop. I don't have that particular plug, but we can get that taken care of. That's no big deal. But you can also use this unit on 110. So that's nice to be able to use it as a dual voltage, because just is, so in the higher heat ranges, obviously, you can really crank that up. The other thing that this has the ability to do, and I don't see it here, I may need to purchase it. It doesn't look like it comes with it. I didn't realize that, but it's not a big deal. But you can get an electrode for this that that will have the it's similar to this, but it's for holding a stick rod, because this is also a stick welder, so it does both TIG and stick. The other thing there was about this one over the one that was below it, which was significantly cheaper, was this one can also do aluminum. So I seriously considered getting the one that was quite a bit less expensive to be able to just do steel. But I really wanted to be able to do stainless and aluminum, and so this is both AC and DC. So you do DC for standard TIG welding if you're going to do aluminum on steel. If you're going to do aluminum, you switch it over to AC. And trying to remember if it seems like you also have to switch the polarity of the electrode to go from a positive to a negative ground. So I got to look into that a little bit. It seems like I remember that with TIG aluminum you should do a positive ground. I'm not sure why that's in my head, so again, I've got to get back up to speed. But another thing that I like, and I'm going to get you over here to see this, is it has a chart on the side here, and I think this is a good reminder. So let's get you over here and let you see that. So the nice thing about this is it gives you the material, the thickness, what the polarity is, AC or DC. Okay, that's what they're doing. When you switch it, from AC to DC, it's automatically switching the polarity. So that's good. That means I don't have to worry about that. What amperage you should set it at, which is nice. What tungsten you should use, green, red, or purple. Okay, that makes sense. I usually use purple myself. That's pretty universal. I don't remember what the rationale is for the different colors, but this only came with green and red, so I'll go ahead and order a bunch of purple as well. Using 16th inch, so 16th inch material, 16th inch tungsten, 4043 aluminum filler metal, filler rod diameter, 16th inch. What you set your gas pre-flow to, post flow, torch cup size, your gas flow rate, and your clearance effect. So clearance effect is one of the settings down here, I believe. Can't remember now. Yeah, right here, this one. So that's where you would set it here, but what that setting should be. So for anything that you're going to weld, which for me is going to be anywhere between 16th and 3/16 steel for the most part, I know exactly what I need to set things to, what filler rod I should be using. I also know now what filler rods I should get on hand. And this just gives me a good baseline. So I'm really happy with them putting that right on there. And I'll probably figure out some way to cover this so it doesn't get covered with crap in the shop, or just get a cover for the welder itself, which is probably the better thing to do. I do feel like a little kid at Christmas sitting here on the floor looking at his presents, but I went ahead and put the tungsten in, and if you look at the tip of that, it's not shaped at all, so that's got to be ground to a point, and there's a technique to do that on a grinder, so we'll need to get that down to a nice point. But that's ish, you know, how it looks. Of course, it's got this piece back here that you put on, and that's how you loosen that up to adjust your tungsten. So I'm just getting it close there. Oops, not quite. So you want it, I think it's, if I remember right, it sticks out just a teeny bit beyond the end, but I got to get in the book and look at that. But anyway, then that's tightened down and the tungsten stays in place. So that's good. So I definitely am going to have to get some other materials, which I figured it's part of the reason I wanted to open this. You know, I could, without fill rod, I could start doing some lap welds and so forth with this if I wanted to. And quite frankly, if it wasn't so crappy out, I probably would have been doing this episode in the shop today and doing a little demo. But I think rather than demoing this on its own, I'm just going to go ahead and get it up and running, and then involve you in the process of just when I use it, and I'll talk about how to use it as I do that. So I may change my mind on that. Drop some comments down there about what you would like to see, what you would like to know. It's going to take me a little bit to get back up to speed on TIG welding because it's been a long time. One of the things that Mark asked about was the advantage of TIG welding over MIG welding. For one thing, and if you look on Eastwood.com, look up the TIG 200 AC/DC. Matt does a nice job of demonstrating this unit. One of the big things is the heat is just so much more concentrated. And if you get a gas lens for this rather than this particular tip, it sounds like the plows are finally going by. Yay! You get a gas lens for this, the gas is a lot more concentrated and the accuracy is a little bit better. But if you're if you had lips that would work, if you're welding with a MIG, you got sparks shooting everywhere. This is very concentrated. There's very little flash spark. The heat is much more concentrated. It's a good deep weld, but there's less likely to warp the material. So there's a lot of advantage. Now for structural stuff, I'm still going to be using MIG. But when I did that butt weld on John 66 Belvedere, it would have been a lot easier to be able to TIG weld that together. I would have had to do a little bit better job cutting the material, but it would be a lot easier to just TIG that together and not have to worry about spacing things out and keeping things cool so that the panel doesn't warp. And even the way I did it, you can still end up with warpage sometimes, so it's something to be careful of. But this really is going to expand my capability in the shop. The price on this was, in the overall scope of doing this kind of work, is very affordable. So I'm excited. It's got great reviews. I'm really excited to get out there and start using it and try it. So if you have any questions about this so far, drop them down there in the comment section. Like I said, I apologize for not being able to get something out from in the shop, but it's just pointless to try to work. I just freezed to death out there today and just throw money right out the door because it's just too windy. Temperature wise, it's cold, but it's the wind that's the killer. So as soon as that wind dies down in the next couple of days, I know we've got a bunch of stuff going on, but I will get back out there to the shop and maybe we'll do something with this, but I definitely want to get back and doing some more projects. So hey guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I know a lot of you don't care for this stuff, but a lot of you are just really into what I'm doing here in the shop, and when we get new toys, I want to share them with you. So yeah, I'm like a little kid at Christmas. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do hit the bell for notifications. We're on Facebook and Instagram. Just look for /mycarshop. And one other thing, guys, and thanks so much for the way you're making the channel grow. I appreciate your feedback. You know, we get some criticism, that's fine. This isn't for everybody, but for those who want details and those who want to see the way I do things, which may be a little different than the way other people do things, I appreciate you being here. So rock on, guys and gals. Sorry, I say guys because I'm from the north, and that's just kind of universal for like, hey, you guys, everybody. So when I say guys, it's not gender specific. I don't want to rule out the gals on the channel because I know there's a bunch of you. All right, rock on.